Star General Benjamin O. Davis Jr., first black brigadier general in the United States Air Force, and one of the first black pilots to fly combat missions during World War II. At the time, I flew a number of missions in various Army Air Corps fighter aircraft, including the P-51 Mustang you see behind me. Early in the war, President Franklin D. Roosevelt directed the War Department to create a black flying unit. I was assigned to the first training class of the Tuskegee Army Airfield, and along with 4 classmates, we became the first black combat fighter pilots in the U.S. military. Later, I was selected to command the 99th Fighter Squadron, which was made up entirely of black aviators. Our unit first saw combat in Africa and Italy in support of Allied ground forces. We worked very hard to become pilots, and I was proud that our men were finally able to fly with other units to help win the war. After the war, full integration of U.S. military personnel came to be by presidential order in 1940 that had children. During the remainder of my military career, I held positions of increasing responsibility and even saw combat again during the Korean War. I retired from military service in 1970, and during my 30-year career, I saw many changes regarding how race was viewed in the military and in this country. I am extremely proud to say that I have taken part in these changes. 4-star General Benjamin O. Davis Jr., the first black brigadier general in the United States Air Force, and one of the first black pilots to fly combat missions during World War II. At that time, I flew a number of missions in various Army Air Corps fighter aircraft, including the P-51 Mustang you see behind me. Early in the war, President Franklin D. Roosevelt directed the War Department to create a black flying unit. I was assigned to the first training class at Tuskegee Army Airfield, and along with 4 classmates, we became the first black combat fighter pilots in the U.S. military. Later, I was selected to command the 99th Fighter Squadron, which was made up entirely of black aviators. Our unit first saw combat in Africa and Italy in support of Allied ground forces. We worked very hard to become pilots, and I was proud that our men were finally able to fly with other units and help win the war. After the war, full integration of U.S. military personnel came to be by presidential order in 1948 by Harry Truman. During the remainder of my military career, I held positions of increasing responsibility and even saw combat again during the Korean War. I retired from military service in 1970, and during my 38-year career, I saw many changes regarding how race was viewed in the military and in this country. I am extremely proud to say that I have taken part in these changes.
Well, good morning, and thanks for joining us, and certainly thanks for all the media. This is a very special occasion for the Air and Space Museum to introduce a new exhibit here that has a tremendous amount of meaning, both historically, but also as we continue on into the future of our nation and our military services. I want to thank certainly our staff for all the work that they've done, Katrina, Jerry, everybody that helped set this up, Melissa, all the research, Corinne, our creative department, responsible for what we see today and will see today. My name is Jim Kidrick. I'm the president and CEO of the Air and Space Museum. I want to thank a number of people who have come here just for this morning. Ron Lacey. Ron, I'd actually like to start out with you, just a couple words. Ron is the president of the Benjamin Davis chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen right here in San Diego, California. And it happened to be that we chose Benjamin Davis as our animatronic highlighting this exhibit. So Ron?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having this wonderful exhibit for us to share with not only our community, but the United States as a whole and the world. As people come and travel through San Diego, they'll get a chance to come to the museum and see part of the legacy that the Tuskegee Airmen has left behind. What's important to us as a chapter about that is that our entire mission is to continue to let people know about the history of the Tuskegee Airmen and what they did to contribute to our American way of life. And our primary goal has always been to reach out to young people and youth and get them involved in something that they may have never even dreamed of, the field of aviation, which is part of our great American history, our Air Forces, even our Army Air Corps as they started out to be. I'm not sure how many of you know a lot about Benjamin Jr., General Benjamin Jr., but while he was going to the academy, he was actually an isolated person where he had to sit in classrooms all by himself. No one would sit next to him at the time. And he endured all of that with the idea that the determination that he had, he passed on to the Tuskegee Airmen as their commander and led them down a path so that despite all the obstacles that they faced as they went about doing what they had to do to become aviators, he led the way and told them that the determination would get them there. And that's why we're still here today, because we're determined to make sure that we all get there together. And thanks for having us. Again, we really are honored to have this tribute being done on behalf of the Tuskegee Airmen. We'll make sure to have all of our friends and family come out here and check this out. Thank you.
And of course, the exhibit is titled Breaking Barriers because if you look at the achievements of Black Americans in aviation and space, they are significant, highlighted by just a few of them. Others will be on our website that will be here at the museum for the rest of time, if you will. If you look at Bessie Coleman, the first Black American female to earn her pilot's license, inducted into the International Air and Space Hall of Fame right here in San Diego. Mae Jemison, the first Black American woman to travel in space. It goes on and on and on, the many contributions that have been made over these years. And of course, the animatronic, which will be highlighting the Breaking Barriers theme of this exhibit in front of RP-51, painted in the Red Tail Squadron colors, which, as we were talking a little bit earlier, is just a beautiful, airplane. There's no finer looking P-51 that you're ever going to see. We had a significant donor, that when we were proposing our third animatronic, the first one being Charles Lindbergh, the second Amelia Earhart, who said, I'd like to participate. And I'd like to bring Arthur Walk up here, one of our board members emeritus at the Air and Space Museum, for a couple of comments from Arthur.
Thank you, Jim. Winston Churchill said during the Second World War, America will always do the right thing after it tries everything else. And I think that that's a telling remark, because the Tuskegee Airmen was the right thing. The opportunities that were provided to Black Americans to be able to participate in the military is the right thing. And having served in the Civil Rights Movement in the 1960s, it has always been a goal of mine to be able to inspire young people and their parents to understand the contribution to aviation that Black Americans have made. And so when I had the opportunity that Jim gave me, for which I am most appreciative, I suggested Benjamin O. Davis Jr., because he epitomized what you can achieve in this great country if you apply yourself, if you work hard, if you become educated. You can overcome all adversity, no matter where it is, and no matter who puts it in your path. And so I hope that children and their parents are inspired for generations to come and to hear General Benjamin Davis talk about the history of one of our greatest American achievements, the Tuskegee Airmen. Thank you for that opportunity.
And Arthur, sincerely, thanks to you. Arthur and I are also very, very dear friends sometimes. And so to get any credit from Arthur for anything done is a significant honor. And I know he's very appreciative, certainly, of the entire museum team and being able to bring this forward. So now I think that, what we're looking at is our animatronic, of course, General Benjamin O. Davis, Jr., the first Black American Brigadier General, flew in combat and commanded units in World War II and Korea, instrumental in integrating the United States Air Force, which is certainly the key element to the Tuskegee Airmen's efforts. Founded the Thunderbirds. He was one of the staffers as it was flowing through, to make the Thunderbirds happen many, many years ago. One of the other gentlemen that we're highlighting here is Lloyd, and we all have call signs as pilots. His call sign is Fig Newton, as you would imagine, and Fig was the first Black American Thunderbird pilot, and I know him personally, and just a great guy. General Davis retired as a Lieutenant General in 1970, and he was inducted back in 1996 into the International Air and Space Hall of Fame. I think we're ready to cut our ribbon. So Ron, and your guest, and if you would come up, and Arthur, okay, and Katrina, why don't you come on up here? Anybody else you would like? We're going to put the ribbon up, we're going to cut the ribbon, and then we will actually play the animatronic. The scissors are a little too big for me, by the way. Don't run with the scissors. Okay, so Arthur, why don't
I'll just do it.
Ron, Arthur, get up.
You guys go. We're gonna. I think it's.
The media has slowed us up just a bit.
Ready now?
So, why don't the two of you, Ron and Arthur, why don't you go over here and let's get a little bit of room so the media can see it. This is the first time anywhere seen. We're going to push the button right over here. Okay? And then you'll want to move back out of the way so they can film General Davis.
Okay, and 1, 2, 3, push the button.
I am 4-star General Benjamin O. Davis, Jr., first Black Brigadier General, United States Air Force, and one of the first Black pilots to fly combat missions during World War II. At the time, I flew a number of missions in various Army Air Corps fighter aircraft, shooting the P-51 Mustang you see behind me. Early in the war, President Franklin D. Roosevelt directed the War Department to create a Black flying unit. I was assigned to the first training class at Tuskegee Army Air Force, and along with 4 classmates, we became the first Black combat fighter pilots in the U.S. military. Later, I was selected to command the 1990 Fighter Squadron, which was made up entirely of Black aviators. Our unit first saw combat in Africa and Italy in support of Allied ground forces. It was very hard to see this. I was proud that we were finally able to fly with other units to help win the war. After the war, movements of which the U.S. military personnel came to meet the presidential order in 1948 at Henry City. During the remainder of my military career, I held positions of increasing responsibility. We saw combat during the Korean War. I retired from military service in 1970. During my 30-year career, I many changes regarding how race is viewed in the police. And in this country, I am extremely proud to say that I have taken part in these changes.
Now for the media, just so you know, we can play this again if you need to get the cameras closer to get some volume. We have so many competing sounds in the Air and Space Museum. We're still dialing in the right volume. This is not meant to be humorous, but when we put in Charles Lindbergh up front, it is activated as someone walks by. So we decided to go with the button, and we're actually switching Lindbergh to a button also, because they walk by so often, it keeps activating it virtually all the time. So it's very exciting for us. This is a significant exhibit. It honors a moment in time that we should all remember. As Arthur quoted Winston Churchill, Churchill also said, the further back we go in history, the further we're able to look at our future. And that's really what this exhibit does. It looks at our future. So thank you very much for joining us this morning.